in a screen. Now let's understand the Spring Core features. Okay, we'll start the Spring Core module. So the first topic, if you remember, we will check how to create objects and how to connect them. How to connect. If you understand these two are the major topics. Okay, how to connect objects. If you understand these two, then it will be easy. I think you understood almost the core module 90% if you understand these two topics from Spring Core, how to create objects and how to connect objects. Okay, creation of objects. In old approach, we use XML file approach. Old style is XML file approach. And we have new style annotations approach. How to create object means in two ways. Old approach XML file approach, the new approach annotations approach. Using annotations also we can create objects. There are two ways to create object. The old way of object creation is we will use XML files, and nowadays we are not using that. Which one we are using? New style. So using the new style way of approach only, we are creating objects. Annotations. We will do pure annotations. It's okay. New style. So same way connecting objects also, while we were working with old style XML file, using XML file only after object creation in XML file only, we used to connect objects. In XML via XML file only we used to connect objects. Using XML file. And when we go through new style for object creation, here also we should follow new style. New style annotations. We can connect objects using annotations also. These two are important. Okay, creation of objects and the connection of objects. Why we need to discuss old style also here means maybe you may jump into old applications if you get opportunity. So you would have little idea how to use XML files. Okay. So to create these objects, generally whoever manage objects, right? Whoever manage objects of application, we call them containers. So we are saying using XML file we can create, using annotations we can create. We means not by developer. Developer will not create any objects directly. So to create these objects we are going to use containers. So here IOC containers will do the job. IOC container will do this job. Who do this job? Who will do it? IOC container. So who perform this? IOC container. Who perform here connection of objects? Same IOC container. Who will do it? IOC container. Just if you configure them, that's it. Who will create objects for you? IOC container. Who will connect your objects? IOC container only. So we should know about this IOC container first. What is it and how it is doing that? We are going to know about IOC container so that you can see how it will create objects and how it will connect to objects. So now coming to coding, you are a developer. Okay, you got job into Spring application. So you started doing Spring application. So generally, what pattern we follow to write this class is, as I told you, right? We will have front end views. We will have front end views. From there, you will be getting some data. From front end views, you will be getting some data in the form of JSON or simple HTTP data, whatever it is. You will be getting to backend. So our journey will start from backend only. Okay, we don't deal with the front end. Ignore about front end. So here I am doing my backend classes to handle a use case. I have a view. From here I am submitting data. To read data I need to have a controller here. As per MVC, right? We will have a controller. Controller will do all read operations. Hereafter I'll send it to business class. Here I'll do all business operations. Hereafter I'll send it to DO class. Here I will do database operations. Finally CRUD operations. So database is a separate software. It will be running in your machine. Now, how to write these classes? Okay. So from syntax also we will see. Okay. From day one we will see syntax also how we are going to write them. Not a complicated syntax you are going to use here. Syntax wise for controller or business or DO, not a complicated syntax you will use. As a developer, you will write your classes as a simple POSO classes only. Your classes will be simple plain Java classes, not complicated classes. So Spring is saying don't complicate your class. Means we have OOPS principles, OOPS concepts. You may use polymorphism, encapsulation, inheritance. During inheritance, you might override stuff. You can keep common properties in parent, and then, of course, you can use if you want OOPS concepts if it really required. Otherwise, to handle this view data, I'm getting name, something email, address. For an example, the data I'm getting here to the controller, writing this controller, is it complicated job? Means no, just a poser class bus. Still, how I can get this data? You can easily able to get it. Few annotations given. Just if you put that annotation on top of your poser methods, poser class can have methods, right? In your poser class, you can have simple variables. You can have methods. You can have constructors. You can have poser class can hold all this. Poser stands for a simple plain Java class. So you can have your variables, methods, constructors. Whatever data you are getting, you can easily map to your methods. So that your method can able to read front end data. From here you can forward to your business method. Again here your business class can have the same stuff. Few variables, methods and constructors. Your DO class also will have the same stuff, variables, methods, constructors. So first understand that, do I know how to create poser class? You should question yourself, do I know poser class? Simple Java class which you learn in your core Java. Yes. When you question about it, you know that. The first thing, do I know poser class? Yes. What is poser? A plain old Java object. Plain old Java object. Poser stands for. Means an example for it. Simple class. Class student. As I said, variables. You can have variables declaration. If you need any variable across the methods. Student name. A variable. Public void. Join. student, a method. You can have your method related logic. If at all required, you will be writing constructors. Otherwise, we don't put much constructors. So this is a simple poser class. But you know this, how to do it. You know how to create poser classes, right? Don't you guys aware of it? Writing simple Java class. Yes. Everybody know how to create simple Java class. Then bus. So you're done. You know how to create these classes then. In advanced way of Spring, as I told you here, we are not using any XMLs. In advanced approach, we use new style annotations on. During annotations approach, you will feel writing or implementing such use cases are so simple because you will be writing plain Java classes. Just you will mention few annotations. That's it. It will function. But if you imagine the same stuff in servlets or EJBs, that is so difficult. Instead of this POSO classes, a servlet class or a EJB class, if you try to implement for this use case, it will take, at least for this simple use case, it will take a day. Whereas in Spring, that too in advanced Spring, if you try to write it, it will not take more than an hour, including test case also. So Spring is such a simple framework. It made our life simple. Learning also easy because very few concepts, if I understand carefully, that's it. How to create poser class, I know that. Sorry. See, you may have a controller or a bean or any class. You can call it as poso if it is not having a complex structure. Okay. All your bean classes, all your business classes, controllers, DO, everything. A standard Java class, a simple Java class is poso. Okay. So what do you mean by Java? A bean class. A bean class also a simple Java class with variables, setters, getters. That's it, right? That is also simple Java class only. And whatever setter or getter you are writing, those are methods only. You'll be having variables and methods. Every class purpose is different. Controller class purpose, read data from front end. Business class purpose, handle business operation. DO class purpose, connect with the database and do CRUD operations. And as I said, bean class purpose, it will be treated as a a carrier object. It will carry some data. It will wrap that data and it will carry forward. When I want to exchange information between controller to business or business to DAO, we will transfer data in the form of bean. As I can't say share it as a text file, or as I can't share it as a individual variables, like when I have name, email, address, phone number, like 10 fields if I have here. Instead of exchanging 10 variables to each and every layer, we may put it into a bean and we send it across. But if you know how to create poser class, then you are done. It is easy to implement Spring. Yes, I know. Simple poser class creation. Then comfortably you can move towards object creation. You can use a XML file and you can configure it into container bus. It will create object. So I'll give you step by step how to create object. Okay. First, you need to write your poser classes. Okay, as a developer, step 1, write or create your poser classes. Create poser classes. What are they? Your controllers or business classes or DO classes. Okay, create your POSO classes during application development. Create your POSO classes. Second step, configure POSO classes in XML file. Second step. 3. Load XML file into IOC container. This IOC container is a simple class. Again, IOC container is a simple Java class only. Generally, to do the same job, right? To create objects. Why we are using IOC container? To create objects of our POSO classes. To do the same job, earlier we used to spend a lot of money on servers. We need to buy Tomcat, maybe it is open source, but when you imagine WebLogic, WebSphere, JBoss, application servers, we need to buy license and we used to utilize them. What is their job end of the day means they also used to create objects. To create your objects and to manage your objects, developer used to write them. But developer must, he should deploy them into servers before Spring. But what Spring did, it is doing the same server's job with the simple Java classes only. It is saying, no, don't depend on any server. I am giving you a simple Java class that will, you can treat that as a server. It will handle whatever WebLogic server used to do or whatever Tomcat server used to do. This IOC container will do it for you. And that is not a special software. IOC container given in your Spring jar files only as a Java class. In this Spring jar files, it is given as a Java class only, simple Java class. This is not a special software, it is a simple Java class only. In Spring jar files they given. What are they? Mainly we will use, actually there are many classes: bean factory, application context, web application context. These three are the containers generally we discuss about. But in real time, which container we are going to use? Web application context only. This is the container real time will function. But the behavior of all these containers is same. The main core behavior of all these containers is same. The main core features are same. They will function in a same way. So even we can see application context related examples also. And we will be seeing bean factory example also. But in real time, we will be using, in real time we will be using what? Web application context. What are they? IOC containers. They are like your Tomcat, WebLogic, JBoss, application servers and web servers. They are like that. Similar to that. If you know the job of the servers, what is the job of the servers? When you write web application in servlets, Tomcat will create servlet objects. When you write your enterprise application in EJBs, WebLogic or JBoss will create objects of your EJB classes. But when you write a Spring application, these containers will create objects. That's it. I need to create my classes, configure in XML file, load it into IOC container. Bus, my job is done. For that, I need Spring jar files. That's it. Okay, because it is a framework. So all the framework classes given in Spring jar files. There are many jars, not only single. So just we need to include that jar files to function it properly. Okay. So for my POSO classes, maybe I don't need any jars. But once after creating my Pozo classes, I need to use framework features, right? Framework is going to create your objects. So framework only going to provide you XML also. So to utilize a framework, I need to include some jars. That's it. Create a project, add some jar files, and you create your Pozo classes, configure in XML file, and do the third step, load it into container. So what I will do for you to make these examples also simple, I'm going to share you this link with you. Okay, here we have all the examples. Here we have all the examples. Just to download and practice yourself. Yes. So from here, right, first thing you need to do, download jar files. I shared you already a link. Okay, keep that link with you, bookmark it. So here you click bookmark and save it. So download all the jar files here. You have download option. As soon as you click on this, right, you'll be getting download. So you'll be getting a rar file. Use WinRAR to extract this. Okay, download WinRAR software if you don't have. So open these jar files first. Extract these jars. Once download is done, go to this location. Extract this. Once you extract it, right, spring extracted folder here I have. You can see. Okay. So here you will have all the jar files. Okay. Main important jar files. Spring framework jar files, including Hibernate few jar files. I created this set. Okay. Even MySQL connection jar files. Okay. And some important connection pools. You will not get this combination outside. Okay. So just download here. You can use, yeah, you can use it. Just a minute. Okay. Yeah. So you can use latest jars also, but don't confuse. Use latest jars or these jars. First core functionalities whichever we are discussing, they will function in the same way. Okay. So let's use these jar files. In advanced coding, right? We will use Maven dependencies only with all latest versions. So all you need is Eclipse software also. Okay, download Eclipse also. Okay, download any Eclipse latest version. I can share you that link as well. Okay, download any Eclipse latest version. Download Eclipse latest version from here. Install favorite IDE package, download. So if you go to Eclipse org, right, you will find downloads, download Eclipse version. Eclipse IDE for Java developers, enterprise Java web developers. Use this one, okay? Use this one, this link, okay? As we are going to implement web applications also, use this one, okay? Use this Windows option if it is Windows. If you have a different machine, this link is for Windows. You can download Eclipse also, okay? Now what I'm going to do, let me open simple Eclipse. I'll show you step by step. So we understand that creation of simple POSO classes is more than sufficient. Simple Java classes, if you know, so we can learn on top of it by creating simple Java class, configuring it into XML file. We can load it into container. Yeah, there our job is done. We understand that just loading via XML file is a old approach, but yes, by creating simple poser class, by configuring it into XML file, I can load it into IOC container, it will create object. So I'm creating a simple Java project. Spring IOC XML approach. Finish. So I created a project. Just what you do, right click on this project once you create, right? Go to build path, configure build path. I'm adding jar files here. Go to library section. I'm adding external jars. So whichever jar files I downloaded, I'm adding them. Apply and close. So Spring Framework also added to this project now. Spring Framework. Adding jar files means Spring Framework added. Okay. Now let me write a simple Java class. I'm just creating a package beans and I'm writing a simple Java class student poser class. I'll increase font size, Windows, font A6, edit. Yeah, yeah. I think you can see this. A simple poser class. Okay. I'm just overriding a constructor because always constructor will be executed when I create object. Student object created. If I call this one, this class object will be created. Public void adding one simple method also hello. One constructor and one method I have. Now let's load this into IOC container. But before that, what I need? A XML file. See, I'm maintaining a separate folders. Okay, I'm maintaining separate folders. Generally, we will maintain in real time. We put classes into dedicated packages, files into some resources dedicated packages. Without these packages, also you can write into source, but that is a bad way. Okay, so from day one, try to keep your classes into packages, files into some resources folder. You will habituate with it. Okay. So now here I need to create a XML file. Go to file. I'll use file option here. I'll be creating a file here, a XML file. You can name it anything. You can put your name, Pavan, XML. Okay, any name you can put. I'm just putting spring.xml file. So in this XML file, you need to configure this poser class. Okay. So the main root tag is here beans. String XML file main root tag beans. Inside this beans, you need to configure bean. Beans will have so many beans. As I have only one bean or one poser class, I'll be configuring it here. Beans.student. Fully qualified path. Package name dot class name. And you can give an ID also for it. One identification ID. That's it. You created poser class and you configure your poser class into XML. Finally, you need to load it into IOC. Third step. I'm writing one IOC class. Main method class. So here you will be creating your IOC class object. As I told you, how many we have? A bean factory, application context, web application context. Let's start with this first one. Though we are not using them, let's understand about it. Bean factory is equal to new XML bean factory. Here you need to use new class path resource to read your file from class path. Class path means your source location. It is there under resources folder. The file name is spring.xml. So I'm using this bean factory loading my XML file here. Okay. What next? You loaded already here. What next? Whichever object you want, you need to call. Get bean ID you created, right? You need to call that ID. IOC container is a server. It will create object. So whichever object it creates here, this object I want. So this is the way that you can get it. So student object, you will be getting it. Once you get this object, you can call your method. Which method I have? Hello method I have. That's it. I'll show you in each and every step what code it will execute. In general, if I run directly, you can't see it. Instead, I'll use debug mode to run it. First line number 12 it will execute. So here cursor is stopped. So I need to pass that. Proceed. Okay. Once after that line, it is not reaching even to this 14 line or 16 line. It is failed. It is failed. Why it is failed? Understand it. XML parser exception. SAX parser I am using. It is saying SAX parser. Throwing the exception. Line number 1, column number 8 cannot find the declaration of elements. What it is saying, I cannot find the declaration of elements. Beans. I'll tell you what it is saying. If I try to call hello method, it is giving perfectly. If I put something hi method here, it is showing error, undefined. The method hi is undefined, it is saying, right? Why it so? Because my class doesn't have hi method. Same way, your container is saying, this container is saying you are loading this XML file, but in that XML file, I don't know what is this beans. It is saying, I don't know what is this beans tag is all for. Because in XML, yeah, yeah. So XML files always should have definitions, like how you have method here. If you have a method, then only you would able to call. Same way, if you have definition here in XSD or DTD, then only you can able to use these tags here. So definition you should put here, DTD based or XSD based. I intentionally did not added the DTD to show you this error. Okay, without DTD or without XSD, it will not function. So go to Spring Beans jar file, org Spring Framework Beans jar file. Let's open it. You have factory.xml folder. Let's open it. Here you have one DTD folder file, Spring Beans 2.0 DTD. If you go a little bit down on line number 36 and 38 up to 38. So this is the DTD. It is saying XML document that conform to this DTD should declare following doc type. So what it is saying? They are asking to keep this DTD in XML file. Okay, where? Here, on top of your text bus. Now let's execute same code. Line number 12 failed because DTD was not available in XML. So your container or your server is saying, I didn't understand your XML. Now execute it. Now line number 12 is passed. No errors. It came to line number 14. In line number 14, we are asking server to give me student B. Execute it. Student object is created because you asked it created for you. You asked for it, it created for you. In line number 14, you asked to give me student B, then it created for you. You can hover here and you can see one object it is created. So an object it is created. So as this object is created, you can execute this hello method. Hello everyone, good morning. As simple as that. Create Pozo class, configure it in XML file, load it into IOC container. That's it. From here onwards, IOC container will create objects for you. In real time, are we going to call this factory.getBean to get that object means? No. We didn't even require this, okay? We'll do it in a different way here. I passed one string std here. What is that string std? Your bean id. Your bean id. This bean id is std. That I std I passed here. I'm saying, hello bean factory. I need bean which is having std id. It will go and verify your XML. If it find any bean with std, right, it will bring that bean for you. And that bean is student bean. So I'm typecasting into student. If that is an employee bean, I need to typecast it into employee bean. Vice versa, I should not do. Student to student only, employee to employee only. If I have Pawan object only, I should do conversion. Like that, I need to use get bean method to get my poso class. So what I understand here, this is a container. This is behaving like a server. A simple Java class only behaving like a server. It is creating objects for me. I'm not using any new keyword. If you see here, I loaded XML file. Here I am calling for that object. It is providing to you. See the magic here. You are not using any new keyword. On your behalf, it is creating object and providing it to you. What is great in that? I can use new keyword. But see, I'll call the same thing twice. One more object also I'll create and see the magic here. Two times I'm calling for it. Two times I'm calling hello method also. If you see, two times you requested for object, but the container is very smart. It is not creating many objects. As it is very smart, only one object created and same object serving. You forget it, how many objects internally it is creating. It will follow all best way to maintain application performance always high. See, only one object, singleton object it is created. You call it for 1,000 times. You call it for 1,000 times, it will not create many objects, only one object. So imagine in real time, I have a application, order application. You are creating orders application, some new e-commerce you created. There you have an order class, similar like student class. In next 1 hour, I received 1 lakh orders. If I use a new keyword approach for 1 lakh orders, how many objects it will create? If I use new keyword, as many times as you use, that many objects. 1 lakh orders if I get, 1 lakh objects it will create in your machine, on your server machine. Then you may question it. What's wrong if it create? Nothing wrong, but you should have enough RAM or processor to maintain it. Your hardware. The problem is on hardware. Always you can't keep high-end hardwares. It is impossible for small applications also. Rather than simple hardware also should able to serve. How? Instead you creating 1 lakh order objects, create one object. That is sufficient bus. Generally, if you are creating with a new keyword, you may not do that. But Spring is doing it for you. Only one object creates bus. Sufficient for me. That much smart the IOC container is. Okay. So we will extend this discussion tomorrow and we will see other containers also. We will see other container application context and we will see web application context when we do end-to-end web applications. For now, we can't use it. Tomorrow I'll show you web application. I mean application context also. You can able to see the differences. Maybe for interview purpose, they will be helpful. Okay. Yeah. Any questions so far? Simple. If you understand today's concept, means you understand what IOC is doing. On top of it, one by one, what features it have additionally, you can see. Yes, yes, sure. Yeah, you can ping me here or else post to the session also. You can ping me. Okay, I'll be there. Sorry, one at a time. Pavan, your voice is. Not audible. Can you put mic near and speak? Yes, Paul. Yeah. Yeah. In real time, we never use them. We never use them. Even you never see this code. This code also you never see. There is one configuration class, predefined class. On behalf of us, it will keep this code in real time. I'll tell you that clear difference. Okay. Hmm. Hmm. Annotations. Real time annotations only. Yeah. In next 1 2 sessions, you will get the clarity. Okay. New way also only. We will use new way only. New ways of even learning. Right. Our main focus is on new way, new approach. Because in real time, no XML file, nothing. Hmm. Yeah, but the buzzwords or the steps taken care from Spring itself. In Spring itself, we avoided almost all the XML. In Spring Boot, in addition, they added uh, configuration class. That's it. Addition configurations came. Otherwise, these features there from Spring itself. In Spring also, we used to avoid all XML based configurations. Without zero configurations, we used to run Spring application also. We used to maintain XML file, but no configurations there. That feature we have in Spring also. Spring Boot have one more step ahead. Even that XML configuration also they avoided using simple Spring Boot application annotation. You will get that clarity, crystal clear clarity. Okay, what Spring provided. Thereafter, Spring Boot what provided, you will be understanding it. Directly, if you learn Spring Boot, and if somebody try to teach you these annotations are from Spring Boot, earlier Spring doesn't have them. That's a foolish thing. Okay, Spring is having everything. Spring Boot had extra features. That's it. 2 3 extra features they brought. You'll be getting it. Okay. Yeah. Hmm. Correct. If you go through that link, you will be getting examples. This one. Okay. So one by one, each example you can download and you can load it into your Eclipse and you can execute easily. You can, today's example, right? You can realize here core container. The next example, J2EE container. Just download it and see. And even if you want to see this example also, basic object creation at runtime in core Java. This is core Java example. If you don't know runtime object creation using class dot for name, you can see this example also. Core Java example. Okay. So simple examples. Just download them, import into your Eclipse, and practice it. Any doubts, reach out to me. Okay. Yeah. Okay, guys. I'll close this session for today. Okay. So tomorrow we'll connect again 7:30. 7:30 to 8:30. Correct. Yeah. Yes, I'll add you, Sukanya. Can you please uh, join this link? I'll share it. Okay. Just and daily practice is mandatory. Okay. Simple. Learning Spring. You know, if you're already part of any Spring based applications, it's okay. But if you move to Spring backend development, your package also, it go very high. Spring with microservices. Batch. Okay. Group link. I shared with you. Can you